What's up, everyone? My name is Susu, the one Sule. I went from a fat loser to a D1 football player. And for the next 3 days, I'm not going to be eating nothing. I'm not going to be eating anything. And I'm about to show y'all why hunger is a superpower. So essentially, we got to start with the history of hunger. And it really, all hunger is fasting, okay? When you fast, you refrain from eating and you just get a whole host of benefits. But the reason why it was used was because back in hunter-gatherer days, you know, when we was cavemen, when we was Neanderthals, when we was just simple Homo sapiens, you gotta think of it like this, okay? So you're in the wild, you know, you're living pretty nomadic. You go from place to place. And along the way, obviously, you gotta eat so that you can survive and, you know, continue to thrive and whatnot. But you don't have any refrigerators, you don't have any way to store food, you know? And the only food that you really have access to is meat. Pause. So every time you see a woolly mammoth, you know, you go ahead, you go on a huge hunt, you go and track it, or you find some wild buffalo or wild bison, you go and track it. You kill it, you bring it back to your tribe, you bring it back to your camp, you know, skin it, cook it, eat it, all that. But that's really the only meal of the day you're gonna get because, you know, for one, there's a lot of people, everyone's gonna eat every part of the animal, but you're not gonna be able to save it. You can't just throw it in the fridge, throw it in the freezer and be like, okay, we'll eat that tomorrow. We can even have some of that on Wednesday too. It's like, no. You gotta eat all of that animal today. And then you gotta make sure that that's enough fuel, enough energy to fuel you for the next time that you catch an animal. So that's the history of fasting is, you know, you make a big catch and now you gotta wait another, who knows, a day, maybe even a couple of days before you can eat again. So during this time, our bodies didn't just shut down. People think that fasting is like starvation, like, oh, you need food to survive. Like, yes and no. Obviously, you need food after a long enough period, but your body could go a day. Your body can go a couple of days without eating food. So during these times when, you know, your body isn't using as much, doesn't have as much food to run off of, it runs off of your fat storages. It starts burning fat as fuel. It lowers your insulin, it raises your BDNF, brain-derived neurotropic factor, making it easier to focus, making it easier to just think, making it easier to lock in, making it easier to go, you know, track and hunt down an animal. Not to mention your HGH, your human growth hormone, goes up. That's the youth hormone. That's what keeps you looking young and youthful and gives you a lot of vitality. Like a lot of people, I fast a lot, so a lot of people often tell me like I look young. A lot of people tell me that I look like my skin is glowing or whatnot, and you'll experience this too once you start fasting. But enough of the fasting though. I gotta train today, y'all. It's the first day of the off season, so I'm about to take y'all through just like a little body weight routine I do because I'm taking this week pretty easy until next week when I go like way harder. Because this week I'm about to go out of town and whatnot. I don't want to, you know, push my body too hard, but I got to take a break in 3 days. So I'm about to go, you know, just show y'all what I do. Let's get it.
The moment you transform from victim to participant, you become the artist of your life.
Do you want to go to war? Do you want to go to war? We'll take you to war, okay?
Okay, so we back with the workout. I just got back from a whole day. I had classes, was working out, just a whole bunch of stuff going on, but now we about to get back into the main topic of the video. Okay, y'all, so what exactly are the benefits of hunger? How can you use it as a superpower? What are the benefits of fasting? So I already kind of mentioned this earlier, but like I said, focus. When you fast, BDNF goes up. You gotta focus if you want to get the food, okay? So BDNF, brain-derived neurotropic factor, goes up. This means you're gonna be making new brain connections. There's gonna be new neural circuitry wiring in your brain. You're gonna be smarter. It's gonna be easier to focus. So now instead of, you know, your body having to focus on digesting instead of getting a mid-afternoon carb crash, because y'all know what I'm talking about. Like after you know you eat breakfast, really, here's the thing. A lot of people start their days off on the wrong foot because they eat breakfast and now immediately they're digesting and now they gotta digest this food. They can't fully focus. That's why a lot of people just go through their entire day with brain fog. A lot of people don't even know what it's like to have a fully functioning like brain that actually works. So when you start fasting, when you use hunger to your advantage, you can get your most important work done at the beginning of the day because your mind is so clear. It's so much easier to think. It's so much easier to focus. You have mental clarity. So that's the first benefit of using hunger, is your focus. Next is fat. When you're fasted, obviously your body can't run off food. There's no food inside you to run off of. So your body is going to start running off of fat. This means you will be burning fat, and this fat will be used as energy. It's a process called ketosis. Okay, ketones, aka fat cells. Your body starts to run off of these, and now it uses that as an energy source. So you're essentially becoming smarter and burning fat all at the same time, just because you controlled your appetite a little bit. That's why you need to start fasting. You can't just be eating snacks around the clock. Like, a lot of people love to do this thing where, like, they wake up, they eat something, a couple hours later go by, they eat something, a couple more hours go by, they eat something. Like, they're always like in this constant like eating. Now look, if you want to use hunger as a superpower, you gotta go sometime without eating. I'm not saying to eat less, I'm saying to eat less often. Okay, less frequency, same amount of food. Okay. But yeah, your insulin is going to go down. If y'all don't know, insulin is essentially what causes inflammation. Inflammation is what causes all diseases, what causes you to get fat. So when your insulin goes down, it's going to be harder to get fat. You're going to look lean and sexy and aesthetic, all that stuff. Next is the time factor, okay? You got to think of how much time you spend eating and then digesting. On top of that, you spend time eating, you spend time cleaning, you spend time cooking, you spend time prepping. If you go out to eat, you got to go drive to the place, you got to sit down, you got to eat the food then. Not to mention all that food that you're eating is filled with a bunch of shit, so you got to take the time to digest that. It's a whole process, whole freaking shebang bang. So I suggest that you skip that process entirely by just fasting. Because when you're fasted, when you're using hunger as a superpower, when you eat, your body's gonna be so hungry that like the food you're gonna eat is immediately just gonna go, like, it's gonna go to your muscles, it's gonna go to fueling your body. You're not gonna be all like just filled with food that's gonna crash you and take away your mental focus. Next is just youth and energy, okay? When you are fasted, testosterone goes up and HGH, human growth hormone, goes up. What is HGH, human growth hormone? That is the youth hormone. That is responsible for keeping you young, keeping you filled with vitality, giving you life energy. A lot of people that fast, a lot of people after you go on like a 3-day fast or something, they're often told that they look younger. Their skin is shining, their skin is popping, their skin is glowing. It's because they're filled with all this HGH, human growth hormone. Your body needs to stimulate energy somehow, so it gives you HGH because it starts to repair your body. A process known as autophagy is what happens in the body when you are hungry, when you are fasted. But you can't dip into autophagy if you're always eating around the clock. You need to go an extended period of time where you're not eating. Hence why you need to use hunger as a superpower. Because when HGH goes up, you are essentially aging in reverse. Okay? That's why a lot of people who are skinny live longer. A lot of people who are skinny, quote unquote, look better, have more energy, because even though they might not, be looking all big and whatnot, they might look weak internally. They're actually firing on all cylinders because their body just has more energy to run off. They have more human growth hormone. Like, if you've ever looked at people that are able to eat anything they want, it's really because while they might be able to eat anything they want, they just don't eat that often. Like, a lot of my friends here in college, okay, we live in college. The reason why so many people in college are skinny isn't because your metabolism is super high, because there's a lot of fat people in college. The reason why all my friends are skinny is because they don't have money to even eat, and when they do eat, it's like very infrequent. They might eat 1 meal a day, maybe if they're lucky get 2 meals a day. I literally just gave my homie 3 Chick-fil-A chicken biscuits because bro had nothing else to eat. But when you're eating with that little amount of frequency, yeah, you're gonna start, getting the benefits from fasting and having hunger as a superpower for you. And then last but not least, the best part about hunger as a superpower is it just becomes a mindset thing. You become like a hungry, ravenous carnivore, a fucking animal when you aren't eating all the time. When you're hungry, you have an internal hunger, like an internal fire, because literally it's like if you go and play a sport, it's like, damn, like I gotta beat this dude, I gotta compete my ass off, I gotta win this game, or else I'm not gonna be able to eat, I'm not gonna be able to feed myself. when you're talking to someone, like let's say you're hungry and you need a place to stay in a home cooked meal. When you're talking to a girl, that's gonna be like almost like an animal hunger that she's gonna be attracted to, because it's like, yo, if I don't go home with this girl, I'm not gonna be able to eat tonight. I'm not gonna have nowhere to rest my head. It's like, it's stuff like that. Like when you just have a hungry mindset, there's something about it. You become a hunter, you become a killer inside, internally. And when you have that mindset, there's nothing that you can't do. There's nothing that you can't do, because everything comes down to mindset. The energy that you come off to people with, just it's everything. It's everything. So yeah, start using hunger as a superpower. How do you start doing that? Intermittent fasting. I'm always talking about intermittent fasting. Long story short, intermittent fasting is only eating in a certain window of time. So ideally, you want to start with fasting for 16 hours out the day. This would mean that you would only have an 8-hour eating window. So if you're just starting off, here's what you need to do. Skip breakfast. That's it. Skip breakfast and stop eating at 8 o'clock. This means you're only going to eat from noon, 12 o'clock to 8 p.m. And what this is going to do is you're going to be getting a microdose of the benefits of fasting every single day. Y'all know what morning skinny is? It's like when you wake up and you look all skinny. It's because you're starting to get into this fasted state. You haven't been eating all day. You haven't been eating for the last like 8 hours, let's say. And now your body's finally able to tap into the fat storages. It's finally able to tap into that fuel and start burning it. So when you start intermittent fasting, you're just going to stay in this state even longer. More fat is going to get burned. You can get more work done during this time because of the time and mental focus that you have. On top of that, you're going to have more energy. You're going to look more youthful. HGH, testosterone, all that stuff is going to go up. Not to mention your discipline is going to be on 100. You're going to have that killer, that hunter mindset. So start intermittent fasting, y'all. You can still eat the same amount of food. It's just going to be in a smaller window. That's all it is. Like me personally, I eat one meal a day. Y'all know this. I talk about this all the time. And what it's done for me is it's really put me on like a whole nother level mentally. Like mentally, I'm always locked in. I'm always there. I always feel like I know what's going on. I never feel slow. I never feel stupid. Like it's honestly, it's really amazing. Like people always tell me like, yo, you look so young. You look like you're glowing. People tell me about how much vitality I have, just how much energy I have. And it's because of the fasting, really. Eating one meal a day will change your life. I'm still eating the same amount of food, okay? But understand, this wasn't like an overnight thing. I didn't just start eating one meal a day one day. Like, no, I was intermittent fasting in 2020. Then 2021, I started, starting to condense it down. 2023 was really when I started taking it seriously. I started eating 2 meals a day. And then I eventually, over the course of this year, I managed to get it down to 1 meal a day. And that's normal to me. But understand, it's a process. It's going to take time to grow and get better over time. Nothing happens overnight. It's all about staying consistent and letting that compound effect take place. But with all that being said, y'all, I am the one Sule. Don't forget to check me out on X at the one Sule. Don't forget also check out the Athletic Body Program if you want to get lean, mean, aesthetic, and athletic. Check out the Athletic Body Program link in bio, just in time for summer. And with all that being said, stay up and stay blessed. My name is Susu. I'm the one Sule. It's Suleiman. You already know. I'm out.